This continues the last episode we posted on Soulmates. So here, Roshni will be kicked out of the house by Renuka after the truth comes out that, you know, the lies that she had been telling with some Sultan. Guys, welcome back. On this video, we are talking about Soulmate. Don't forget to subscribe in case you have not subscribed to the channel yet as we jump straight into the video of today. To complete the drama, Roshni is in big trouble in Soulmates, and we are clapping and cheering because she have really done a lot and we have been waiting for a long time for these episodes to finally show up, and here it is. So let us jump straight into the video of today on Summit.
The episode begins with a tense atmosphere inside the Deshmukh house as the family finally uncovers the shocking truth about Roshni's lies. The carefully crafted image she had maintained for so long starts collapsing in front of everyone. Sultan, the man who had been pretending to be Roshni's wealthy uncle from Dubai, stands before the family with visible guilt written across his face. Folding his hands in apology, he admits that he was only hired to play the role and never imagined that his involvement would create such chaos within the household. He sincerely apologizes to every member of the family for misleading them and becoming part of the deception. Tejas and Renuka are left completely shattered after learning that Roshni never belonged to a rich Dubai-based family as she had always claimed. The revelation shakes them deeply because they had trusted her without question. Furious and humiliated, Tejas immediately demands that Sultan should be handed over to the police for participating in the fraud. However, Sachin steps in and calmly reminds everyone that Sultan was not the mastermind behind the lies. He explains that Sultan was only being used by Roshni and that the real issue lies elsewhere. After apologizing once again to both Roshni and the Deshmukh family, Sultan quietly leaves the house, leaving behind an atmosphere filled with anger, betrayal, and disbelief. Sachin then sarcastically points out how blindly Renuka had trusted and admired Roshni all this time. His words hit Renuka hard because she had always considered Roshni the ideal daughter-in-law and constantly favored her over Sayali and the others. Even Paresh begins reflecting on his own mistakes and realizes that he allowed appearances and status to influence his judgment instead of valuing honesty and character. The family then gives Roshni one final opportunity to reveal the entire truth herself. Everyone waits for her to explain why she lied for so long and what forced her to create such a fake identity. But standing in front of the furious elders and overwhelmed by the pressure surrounding her, Roshni becomes completely speechless. Despite repeated questioning, she cannot gather the courage to speak or defend herself. Her silence only increases the family's anger and disappointment. Paresh feels deeply hurt when he learns that Roshni had even hired a mutton shop owner to pretend to be her uncle. For him, this revelation becomes the final proof of how elaborate and calculated the deception truly was. Renuka feels the betrayal most painfully because she had trusted Roshni more than anyone else in the house. She recalls how proudly she defended her every time someone questioned her behavior, only to now realize that she herself had been fooled completely. Renuka refuses to listen to any excuses and harshly confronts Roshni, demanding to know her real identity and the reason behind all the lies. Her voice trembles with anger and heartbreak as she realizes that the woman she welcomed into her home as her daughter-in-law had hidden the truth from the very beginning. Tejas, equally devastated, admits that he knew nothing about any of this. His shock makes it clear that even he had been completely manipulated by the false image Roshni created. Unable to control her anger and humiliation any longer, Renuka finally loses patience and forcefully throws Roshni out of the house. Before leaving, Roshni desperately pleads with Tejas to listen to her one last time and give her a chance to explain herself. But Renuka refuses to allow it. She bitterly recalls how she arranged Tejas and Roshni's marriage believing that Roshni was honest, cultured, and trustworthy, only to now feel utterly betrayed. For the first time since the truth came out, Roshni finally gathers the courage to stand up for herself. Refusing to silently accept the humiliation, she firmly declares that she will not leave the house. Paresh, Sayali, and Sachin believe she deserves at least one chance to explain her side before any final decision is made. They try convincing Renuka to calm down and hear Roshni out. However, Renuka remains completely adamant. In a moment of rage, she pushes Roshni out of the house and locks the door from inside, making it clear that she no longer considers her part of the family. Even after this harsh decision, the tension inside the house continues because many still feel that Roshni's side of the story has not been heard. Tejas is then urged to go outside and bring Roshni back so she can explain herself properly. Initially, he hesitates, emotionally shattered and unable to process everything that has happened. But after Sachin taunts him for lacking courage, Tejas finally gathers the strength to step outside. On the street, Tejas breaks down emotionally in front of Roshni. The pain of betrayal becomes impossible for him to hide as he questions whether any part of her love or care for him had ever been genuine. Completely heartbroken, he struggles to accept that the woman he trusted most had hidden such massive truths from him. Overwhelmed by anger, disappointment, and emotional pain, Tejas ultimately breaks his relationship with Roshni. The episode ends on an emotional note, with Tejas devastated and Roshni left standing outside the house, broken by the collapse of the life she had built on lies.